My name is Mel, and your life is going to change. You are going to be dead, to be dead, to be dead. My name is Mel, and your life is going to change. You are going to be dead, to be dead, to be dead. My name is Mel, and your life is going to change. You are going to be different. You are going to be out. You are going to be bigger and larger than ever. Imagine the possible. And you know why? Because it's true, and I will find the power that's been born inside of you all of this time. And all of this time, you were afraid to go out and no longer look at even if you will be the shine. You will be the God, when God is the you will be the one that everybody turns to and says, hey, look, they're there, the master's there, this teacher there, the truth there, the one that will make my life different. My shot, that way to find stuff, I'm here to tell you, I'm here to change your life, your life will no longer be the same. Be together, I'm going to accomplish the world. Before you know it, everything you imagine possible, can become possible for one simple reason, anything is possible, possible, possible. My name is Mel, and your life is going to change. You are going to be dead, to be dead, to be dead. My name is Mel, and your life is going to change. You are going to be dead, to be dead, to be dead, to be dead.
And welcome everyone to another program of Uncommon Sense, brought to you from the center of tropical Singapore for the moment, while we are in the second phase of a lockdown that has gotten us all over the planet as well. With us today in the studio, just to let you know, my co-host will be on in a short while. He had a few urgent things to take care of, and that would be Luke Gill, my son. This is Father and Son Theater, and also at the same time, we're talking to people who are making a difference in the world, people who have opinions about what is happening in the world and what we can do to make it a better world, and also at the same time, people who are doing things that, well, most normal people don't do. So joining us in the studio today is a very special gentleman that I've known for a long time, David Anthony. How are you, sir? Welcome to Uncommon Sense.
Hello, Mel. It's great to be here. Thank you very much. Yeah.
I hear that you are doing great things, and you are now where?
I'm right now in the Philippines, Mel. And
okay.
At the moment, I'm outside in a house area, so I'm hoping I'm not going to get bitten by too many mosquitoes tonight.
All right, all right. Yes.
It's the coolest area here. It's lovely. Yeah.
Awesome, and you're out in the open, and it's so much fun.
Yeah. So cool here now. It's a beautiful night.
In Singapore, there's this dengue thing, as if the COVID was not bad enough. Now we have over 1,500 to 2,000 cases of dengue fever.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No good.
So we're not doing too well out there. So. But I wanted to talk to you about so many things that are happening in the world today, and the things that you're doing to change the world. Could you give everyone a bit of a background? Because I know you from a chat by accident on Facebook.
Absolute
right?
accident in many ways, yeah.
Yeah, and all I know is that you're the co-founder of B1G1, which is a great
now. Yep.
Yeah, and that is a program where people were to help other people who can't afford, like say everything from a cup of coffee to a product that they buy for themselves, a bag of rice, and et cetera, et cetera. It extends everywhere, right?
Yeah. And it's actually based in Singapore, as you might know, Mel. And that's where the headquarters is, And they've been going now for over 12 years in Singapore. It started off in Australia, and that's when I was involved. So I stopped being involved about 10 years ago now.
All right.
And since then, I've been in the Philippines and enjoying life here, very different life here. And I lived in Singapore for about 5 years doing the B1G1. Yeah.
My mother is joining us, and she says, hi, guys.
Oh, wonderful. Hi, Hi there.
And yes, I have met your ex-wife. Yes.
Don't tell all my stories at once, Mel.
No, okay, sorry. I'll leave it to you. Please.
Well, I think it's the number of ex-wives I've had. That's the big story, you see.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
You know, I'm losing count, which is a good thing. I'm getting old, and
Well,
how many wives I've had.
well, in like in my case, I would say that's kind of sad, but in your case, someone would call me big. That would be very big of me, or to be able to do that at some point. I'm not sure, but
I think the world's changed a lot these days, Mel, which is great. And like
relationships have changed.
You're talking about failure tonight, and so many people see relationships when they break down as failure, and it's like transition, a great transition. And Masami is now running B1G1 in Singapore, and she's having a great time. And she's doing that with Paul Dunn, and they're doing some great stuff. And so in terms of relationship now, I've got a lovely wife here in the Philippines, and a beautiful daughter. So, but my history, Mel, you asked me a question a few minutes ago, is basically business, and I've been doing that for 25 plus years. And I did buy one, give one, I think for 4 or 5 active years when it was buy one, give one. But I did the precursor to that, which was actually 10 years. And that was 2 previous businesses. One was in Australia, and that was a company called Bouncing Olive, which was doing food. And we produced frozen meals and sold them in the supermarkets. They were organic frozen meals. And I was in charge of all the production, the back office. They never let me in the kitchen. Just kept me in the office, kept me out of the way. Kept me out of the... And before that, we were in New Zealand doing fast food. And that's how we started the whole journey of B1G1. And so I've been in business for too many years, and I've had a break for about 7 years, Mel. And today when you invited me on the show about failure, I thought, interesting subject. It's like,
Well, I thought we could start, with relationships and work our way up to business and life. And I don't know if a lot of people know who I am, but I can tell you I've made more mistakes and I failed more times, maybe 100 more times than most ordinary folks on the planet, because I'm doing everything. I'm trying everything. And then going on to the next.
Trick. Yeah, that's the big trick, isn't it, Mel?
Yeah. So let's start with something simple like relationships.
Ooh, simple. That's the big one. Business is easier. I don't know. Relationships, I think there's too much weight on the word of failure, full stop. It's like this heavy weighted down word, and like it's just life. That's the way I see it, Mel. Everything is just life, and how we choose to experience it, and what happens, and when it does happen to us, and when we're creating it, and when we're in control of it, and when we're not in control of it. It's the whole mix, and how we keep our fun and our sense of joy and our sense of creativity and our sense of aliveness and the sense of who we are through everything that happens in our life, I think is the most important thing.
And how does David Anthony keep himself up? I mean,
big stick. Can you not see it on the back of my neck? I could say many things, but these days, Mel, I think the only thing is gratitude. And, I've gone through a lot in my life. I'm 54, I think now, going on 55, I'm not sure. So I've had a lot of experience. I've had a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of fun, a lot of hard work and challenges. And so what keeps me focused and sane and connected to who I am is gratitude.
Great. We're similar. What keeps me grounded is Gertrude, but that's a different story altogether. But I'm just kidding. There is no Gertrude. What I tried to tell Luke, my son, who will join us in a short while, and he's 29 now, heading to his big 3-0. Wow, yeah, time passes.
I didn't know his age.
Yeah, 29 years ago he was just sperm. And now look at him, it's amazing. Yeah, and he's come a long ways, and now is living in Varna, Bulgaria.
Right, okay,
yeah. He's there right now with his German wife, Ellie, and he's building a small seminar business and things on his own, and we're working on some joint projects so that we can get things out there. So it's like a father and son collaboration to be able to make things happen. But also at the same time, we're not forgetting that it is the journey along the way, not so much the accomplishing of the goals. We've missed our deadlines like 5, 6, 7, 8 times. I mean, I'm supposed to finish this book for a friend of mine, not book, but 81 reports, and they're a bit slow. And because the language is convoluted, and it's every time I think I've got a handle on it, then it gets worse. It gets more. So I'm not stopping. I'm giving myself a deadline like Friday or Saturday to get it done. And so, but in business though, we've had. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've had massive failures, and I know I've had the small ones. The small ones help me to get a bigger picture, and the massive ones almost always involve a similar story. Someone I trusted to be working with me, then takes starts stealing from me and taking stuff and ideas and graphic work. I mean, something as simple as graphics, for the MetaSecret and all of that. I didn't have that. After 3 years of developing, 3 or 4 years of developing all that, it's gone. Wow. I'm starting from scratch. Wow. Everything starting from scratch again.
Wow.
So, but I'm smiling because you cannot imagine that people like that exist, but they do. And so the trick is not to be bitter, but to be better. And so that's what I'm trying to do. And going forward, just pushing forward. So what about yours in your life right now? I understand that you and I did the same thing. We both started a foundation. Mine is based in Bulgaria. And yours is
based in the Philippines here.
And tell us a little bit more about your foundation.
Well, Basic's not directly a foundation, Mel. It's actually a non-profit educational establishment, a non-profit business. So it's not specifically a foundation. So basically, Mel, for the last 7 years, I've been here on our farm. This is a 1 hectare small organic farm where we are. So at the back is, beautiful nature, and we got the ocean just a mile away. And it's beautiful. We've got the mountains of Baguio, we've got the sea. It's a beautiful place. So basically, for the last 7 years, I've spent developing this with my partner, Carol. And we've had people helping on the farm. We have 2 or 3 people helping working here. And basically, I wanted to do something different. My last business was actually internet marketing. So from Buy One Give One, I went to a business called went into internet marketing. That was based in the Philippines and Singapore. So I did that for about 4 years, and it basically I had to close it down, Mel. So the sense of the so-called failure, that it was a number of things. It was problem after problem after problem, but that was not what made me close it down. We had some pretty major things. For example, my operations manager, who was training up to be the CEO, she basically left without any notice, and that was one of the hardest things. And she was pregnant at the time, so she had a lot of relationship challenges. And she just basically one day says, "I'm leaving." It was like, oh. And we got 40 team members, Mel, and most of them are Filipino people. So in terms of the cultural difference, she's a Filipino. So she just left.
We have absolutely similar experience in the Philippines. But yes, I can relate.
So it's like I'm pretty good with people, Mel, but if I'm doing the operations side, I'm doing the finance side, I'm doing the sales management side. We have people in Singapore doing the sales. So suddenly I'm left with everything.
So you're like me. You're a CEO, a chief everything officer.
She didn't steal from me, which is good, but she just had relationship problems in her own relationship. She was pregnant, had a difficult situation, and she made a reassessment of her life, which didn't include our business. And poof, one day gone, like just literally one day. So
it could have been worse. It could have been worse.
So at that point,
it could have been your child.
It might have been. That could have been the problem.
I'm just kidding. Joke. If your wife is listening, I'm just kidding, Carol.
If that was the story, I would have understood it, Mel. Seriously, I would have understood that drama. It's like, I have a relationship with his wife. He has a problem. I have a problem. Everybody blows up. Okay,
Yes.
understandable, but no. But anyway, to keep a very long story short, Mel, basically, I reassessed what I was doing in my life.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, Google reorganized. We're doing search engine optimization. And at the same time, Google reorganized all its algorithms, and all their customers were in Singapore. All their rankings dropped and collapsed. So we got into a financial crunch. So I asked myself, what do I really want to do? Do I really want to do this? Is my heart really in this? Is this who I am? You know, like I spent 4 years at this point, and I realized the answer was no. My heart wasn't in it. I wanted to be in education, and I wanted to do something that was really coming from my heart. And when I did Buy One, Give One, that was coming from my heart. It was just such a passion to sort of create that business, co-create it with Masami. And then later on, when Paul joined us, co-created with the three of us. It was a very beautiful thing. So my heart was there. And I wanted to do something, again, that was related to my heart, but also related directly to education. So basically, for 7 years, just playing on the farm. And then in December last year, on my birthday, in December, I'm a Sagittarian. So I thought, I want to do something, you know, like I can see there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. There's a lot of stuff that can be done in the Philippines. People have no real business education in this country that is taught by business people. It's taught by university people. And, you know, I don't ever want to criticize other people's stuff. But to me, in business, you only start learning, just like in life and in relationships, when you do it. You got to do stuff.
True.
And that's how you learn. That's how you fail.
Yeah.
So I made a decision. I wanted to create a business school that would develop into a university. So we came up with the name, and the name was UBLA. And basically, well, right now it has no current meaning, but in the future, once we deserve the title, it will mean University of Business, La Union. And so, you know,
what is La Union?
La Union is the state where we live, Mel. So we live in the province here of La Union. So basically, I wanted a catchy name, UBLA.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, after that, I thought, what could it mean? So I did it. And I wanted to create
University of Business.
I wanted to create a university, but I'm also very aware how hard it is to do something like that. And it's a 20 to 30 year project. It's not a small thing. You don't just like, I'm going to create a university. Like, yay! It's a very, very committed thing. But I'm 54. What the hell am I going to do? My passion is education. My passion is business.
Right.
I want to do something. We have a lot of environmental problems. We have a lot of education problems. We have social problems. How can I do something, Mel? That was my question. And then that idea came to me. And it's just not something that came out of nowhere. It came up, bubbled up. It's been there for years. And when I closed that last business down, which was called Magic Webs, I wanted to find what I really loved doing and put that into practice. So I worked on the farm for 7 years, and I loved that. And then I realized, well, what can I do with this? Because this has always been a vision here to have this as an education center, but I've never had a crystal clear vision of how the Happy House Farm, which is what this farm is called, can become an education center. And it never worked. We tried lots of things. We had 100-odd people come from different places in the world and come and visit us. It just didn't work. And the university idea just clicked. So we're starting off with a pilot school. We have it half built behind me here. It will accommodate about 50 students initially. It's half built. I want to finish it this year. We've got a team. There's 6 of us in the team, not just me on my own, crazy old me doing my thing. There's another 5 people in our team.
I've seen
Filipinos. Yeah.
I've seen some of your videos and like them. Very creative, very, very nice, very interesting, huh? Very down to earth. And if your business education is going to be just as gritty and you know, that would be very, very cool to watch and be part of. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how it evolves, Mel. It's right now I'm the front person, as you will. So I have to do who I am. I have to be myself. So I created a YouTube channel called UBLA Unripped. So if you see it, you'll see some guy, you know, handsome young chunk and ripping his shirt open. And I did all those graphics. I had some fun doing it. But I wanted to have a channel that reflected my unusual nature, which is not, it's not necessarily what UBLA will be about, because I'll just be one part of the big picture. But right now we're getting started. We have coronavirus, so I needed to start playing and getting the message out and start connecting and linking with people. That's how I got on the show. I showed you that Crunchlet, didn't I? Of the horror story and going down in the bowels of the earth.
I saw that. I saw that.
Then you invited me on the show. Yeah. So we're getting creative.
I thought it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. Different stuff.
So you're getting people involved, like in a cooperative sort of way to get this university launched. Is that right?
Well, basically, we have a board of trustees. It's a registered organization with the Philippine government. We have a registered company. So we're all legit and above board. I'm a resident of the Philippines now. Everybody else are citizens of the Philippines. So basically, we're a rock solid team. It's just a matter of, we have to raise the finance, and then we have to go through the process with the government of actually presenting everything and then getting the students. So right now we're at the stage of startup and attracting finance. So that's our stage right now. So our goal is $100,000 US. And basically we want that to finish the school, finish the classroom, and then help us launch and get us set up and help us run for the first year.
When you say you are trying to attract finance, you're looking for donations, or are you having some sort of ROI on investments for people?
Donations, Mel, because we're a nonprofit. So basically, people who really see what it is we're doing in terms of who are business connected people, who are socially connected people, who understand the Philippines and the real need here. There is a massive need in the Philippines for young people. In Singapore, as you know, you've got all the amazing universities, great support. In Britain and America. Here,
all government supported, though. They're all government supported, and they are for-profit centers. They make money, which I don't think that's true in Norway or Denmark or Finland, where education is a right of every citizen. It's not here. So those who can afford, then you have it. But I shouldn't go too far in that, because I'll find my channel canceled. I would be. You just have to come in here with bail money. But when I started the foundation, it was more with a thought that since I have this history throughout my 30 years of being a motivational hoo-ha everywhere in the world, that people were my friends and people were part of this whole thing because they wanted something from me, whether it's money or knowledge or da-da-da-da-da. They wanted, it wasn't Mel Gill they wanted. It was the thing I had, the thing I created. And but I'm not crying about that. So I decided, since I'm a nonprofit anyway, not making any money, so I decided I might as well start being a nonprofit for real and not take any profit. And so now those worries are away from my shoulders. I'm not starting anything like that. It's and unlike you have 40 people. Holy crap! I just have three people working in my team. Did you know that? Me, myself, and I. Just three of us are working. That's it, and we're doing everything. And I call, there's all of us. And I call myself CEO, but in my case, it means Chief Everything Officer. I mean, I do the research, I do the writing, I do the creating, I do the video editing, I do everything. It's not funny how it works. And so as I start to do that, and the foundation in Bulgaria allows me certain leeway to operate, so that I know exactly what I need to do. We're not under any government control, so we can go in any area we like. And some of the areas we're going into is space research and reverse engineering, Nikola Tesla stuff, and all of those things that most people would think belong to crazy people, but we're about to make it reality. Actually, let me tell you, Dave, it's end of this year, you're going to see some of those things being employed to turn seawater into fresh water.
Brilliant. Because I've seen some of your projects on your website, and when we first got to meet each other, I had a look at a lot of your stuff and your videos. It was really some great stuff there. Yeah, so that's good news that that's happening now.
But I'm funding it mostly myself now, and I think if I put certain things in place, I can be pretty much self-funded to the tune of my goal for all of next year is about $200 to $300 million to be raised to change humanity for the better, to push humanity forward.
Wonderful.
And let's see if I can't help you in your project at that point as well.
Yeah,
we don't have any. I have trustees, but they're just boards, so I call them board of trustees. But that's a different story.
They're bored or they're on a board?
Well, because there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work involved. So what I've done is taken my cues from cryptocurrency and bitcoins and blockchains when I was starting to do them, and we created a decentralized operating systems or system. And so we are decentralized in terms of offices everywhere in the world. We're everywhere, but nowhere also at the same time. It's kind of like those pop-up restaurants. And we can operate with all of these different folks and making things happen.
That's wonderful, Mel.
So tell us, what is your vision at the end of this UBLA? UBLA?
UBLA, yep.
Okay, UBLA, I will be something else. I'm just kidding.
We've had all those jokes, Mel.
Yeah, okay, already. All right. I'll be San Francisco. Tell us the goal.
The vision, Mel, is that to start solving some of our global problems through business. So giving younger people the opportunity to have real training in business. And a lot of basically what they're then doing is taking that out and taking it out into the world and solving real problems. So our training will be hands-on and very practical. One of the reasons why we're using the organic farm, Mel, is so that people can actually get real everyday experience and not just do a workshop online on a piece of paper, but actually go out into the farm and run projects. So, for example, there's a piece of land back here. It's not currently part of our property. It's 1 hectare, and it needs developing. There's a lease need to be organized with the owners. The whole project plan needs to be put together. The water system needs to be put together. So that will be a student project. And they'll have to do everything from the bottom up. And they'll have to get the finance, do the coordination, and put the deal together, all the paperwork. And then at the end of it, then they have to run the farm. So if, say, if there's 50 of them, they'll break themselves into their own teams. And this will be a real project that will run over a period of a year or 2 years. We're aiming to do degree courses. So once we get the 3rd and 4th year students, they'll be doing their more advanced projects. And the difference about what we're doing is that all the students will be running their own businesses. So by year 3, they'll have fully functioning businesses. So when they leave the course after 4 years, they'll leave with a profit. No student loans, no debt. They've paid for everything, and they'll have a running business. That's part of the focus. When they come out, they've got something actually giving cash flow positive in something that is created from their own input.
So it's an MBA, but practical, hands-on, and so the successful completion of a project would be the requirement for them to graduate from your program.
To get the grades. And of course, we'll have all the head stuff. But one of the key things we want to do, Mel, is we're in an age now where we can bring people together. I know a lot of people, how we met just chatting online, and I met you through somebody else that we know. And I know a lot of people around the world. We've had over 100 plus people visit here. And a large
we're all separated by 6 degrees of separation, right?
You
and I. Yeah, correct.
And we
on my father's side, I'm connected to probably Obama, and on my mother's side to Trump. Who knows? I have no idea.
Yeah. So that's what we want to do now. We want to start inviting other business people to teach in the university and in the school.
That's great.
Real people, and then also one of the things they'll do every day is meditate. Every day. Yeah. Meditation is a core key of what we're doing, along with organic farming. along
All
with
right.
the third one of actually running real businesses. So those three together and put together is a very unique program.
Why meditation?
Well, as you know, Mel, one of the biggest things in life is that most failure and problems come through our own stress. I don't know if that's been your experience, but it's my experience. I've usually been the greatest creator of my own failure because I've said something wrong at the wrong timing. I've got upset or blah, blah, blah. And I'm out of focus. I'm out of balance. And when that happens, I create problems, number one. And number two, I lose my intuition. So as you know, meditation puts us into a different space. And when we do it every day, it's like a heartbeat. And it reminds us just to be settled in our lives that, we got real practical stuff to do during the day, but let's do it from a foundation of connectedness and a sense of deeper who we are, not just like an idea in a head. I've got a business plan. I'm going to do it. A sense of harmony, a sense of connectedness, a sense of vision and purpose, a meditation every day, that heartbeat that just connects us into that, who we really are. And then we produce real results.
You and I are more aligned than I had realized as well. This is what I'm doing. I'm teaching my son and certain people that are part of my quote unquote personal private. They pay me to coach them away from their way of thinking and to go towards what they want, and the goals are all incidental along the way. The person they want to become, that I'm helping them to do while I'm in the COVID situation. But I wanted to tell you something. The meditation I'm doing is quite specific, actually. And what's your religious persuasion?
Nothing.
Okay,
I gave up that when I was at school, and I was forced to do it at school.
You forced to do it at school. Okay, I just wanted to know whose toes I was going to be stepping on.
I used to be a little quiet. I can still sing very high.
Very cool. Yes, until you got to the Philippines and decided underwear was not necessary. Then we became deep again. But so the reason I teach people different forms of meditation for specific reasons. There's meditation to open up your ultra mind capabilities, or your ability to sense and see things beyond the normal spectral range, to be able to sense the future, remote view if you want, astral hoo-ha stuff that you want to do, all of those things. But you got to be able to separate reality from fantasy and what it is you're imagining, because sometimes you can imagine something is real, but it's not. It's all happening in your mind. So how do you tell the difference? So I'm teaching people how to do that, especially my son right now. So I'm very pleased, because some of the things that he's is noticing is that he's going into regression without really doing it consciously. A part of him decided to integrate different parts, and so he went unconsciously while he was sleeping into his past lives and all of that, saw the karmic chain of events that he had to deal with, and brought it to the present moment. That's one of the reasons he's not on the show actually right now, and he'll come later. I see he's watching, but he'll come later and tell us a little bit more about what he's going through, because we just barely talked. And so there is meditation for specific things, but there's also meditation for itself, to be able to align with your destiny. I mean, what if your destiny is not what you want? You know what I mean? The old question, thy will be done, not my will be done, those kind of things. And in the Bible somewhere, and all the religious books, Talmud, Quran, the Vedas also say the same thing. When you start to get closer to the idea, the thought, the energy of this God force, I call it a God force because it's more descriptive than to say God. all of these things become second nature. They come.
They
Whatever
do.
you need comes.
They do. Yeah. And that's
like
the amazing thing. Yeah. Yeah. And meditation connects you into that and reminds you about that too. I don't use the word God in my. If I use the word, I probably use the word totality, because it's just, I have so many different experiences, and these days my experiences are becoming more seamless.
Yeah, but that's not the word you would use in the bedroom, though. Oh, totality, oh, totality, oh, totality. Yeah. Don't stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes God is useful.
I'm not a person to pray, but I create, and in my world, what is important is to remember that there's just so much, and there's so much we have forgotten to see. And in this life, as we look deeper at life, and the experiences like failure, then we actually see the real truth, the real fabric, and it's like a cloth to me. And when you look closer, you see through the cloth, and you see behind it there's a big light, and it's always been there. And you're just not seeing it because it's been distracted with the cloth, and our focal length has not been able to focus through it, or we've never gone and inspected closely.
Some nuns are not going to like that you can see past the cloth, but yeah.
It's always a problem. So I don't know, like, I've not got anything against religion, and I wouldn't call myself a spiritual person, because there's too many boxes there, that I'm very much out of the box these days. I do what
you are. You are a spiritual person.
Well, you could define me as that, but I don't define myself as that.
Look at what you're doing on the land. You are becoming one with the land. It's very avatarish,
Yeah, but I wouldn't use the word spiritual, Mel, because there's so many words these days who separate us from each other. And
so
if I say,
what do you think spiritual is?
It's a non-existent word to me. It's not a word I use. It's what is more important to me is, like, when I meet somebody, is do they have a shine in their eyes? Do they have a smile on their face? If they do, then I'm gonna have a conversation with them. Yeah.
That could be what they're drinking and a chemical, or that produces the shine as well.
Not the shine in the eyes. When you really meet people who are switched on and connected, no matter what their belief systems are and their framework that they use to understand this life, it's, all these things are to me like a platform, and they allow us to see further. And that's, I think, what we all want to do. We want to get elevated so we can see more of what we already know. And deep down, I think we already know so many things, but we choose certain structures like religion and spirituality to try to see and remember what we already know. And yet it's just like, it's already there. So like, I used to call myself a vegetarian, and now people call me a vegetarian. I said, well, no, I just don't eat meat. Why would I call myself a vegetarian? I'm more focused on what comes out of my mouth than what goes into my mouth, because that has more of an impact on my life and has more of a power in my life by what I speak versus what I eat. So, why would I be so concerned and put a label on the stuff that I put in my mouth? I should be a lot more focused about how I share. Does that touch people? Does that change things? Does that help people? Does that enhance situations? Does that create more of what I want?
So you believe you are what you eat?
I'm totally everything of what I think and what I eat and what I breathe. It all becomes a part of me in an intricate way that you can't separate it. We're in a physical reality. We cannot separate ourselves from all those physical things. So they become a part of who we are. But
I have a friend who I never take to restaurants. His name is Dr. Arut Siva. He's a devout vegetarian.
You never take. Did you say you never take?
No. He'll bring me to his restaurants, which are vegetarian, and I'll eat them, and It's okay, great. But he called whenever I'm sitting and I'm having lunch in front of him because I haven't eaten yet, and I'll a hamburger or something like this, and he'll say that's a dead carcass of a dead animal and this and that. And by the time he finishes, it's like the only thing I have left is the fries, to eat, and it's kind of sad. But he always says to me, "You are what you eat." I said, "Does that apply in oral sex as well?" I'm not sure, but he doesn't
You're a
like talking.
bad boy, Mel.
I am, but I hate to be. Yeah, I'm a. You say you're Sagittarius. I'm Aquarius. Aquarius, there's no borders, no boundaries. You can't tie me down. And if you're working to be free of anything, I'm already free from birth. I'm already doing what I need to do, and people ask, "What's your dream?" I'm living that dream. I'm doing what I want to do. How many people can do that? A lot of people can't. So I'm teaching them to get past what stops them. And so that's why you and I are in conversation. You're going to talk about the business side of it. I'm just going to talk about the life side of it. And when people want to venture into something new, and what holds them back is the fear. What holds them back is the memory of a past failure. What holds them back is a pattern of meeting certain people, doing certain things. I help them to break that by telling them that I've gone through that. Not that I'm trained. So, I'm trained to do this, but I'm also talking from experience, not just from training. So when it comes to business and someone wants to start a business, and this is the EBLA that you started, right?
Yeah, the UBLA,
UBLA that you started. Give us some idea of how to make that transition from a paycheck, which is now fast disappearing across the planet. 44 million people unemployed in the United States. That's record breaking. And I don't see it getting better in the next little while. And towards the end of the year, we're going to be in not a recession, but we're in a deep depression.
The shift is a tricky one, Mel, because you cannot easily jump from being an employee to be a business owner. Most people tend to go through self-employment, and people who are self-employed often think they're in a business, which you try not to tell them that they're not in a business nicely.
What are the differences?
Well, the difference is that, for example, when I was in Singapore and when I was in Manila, when I was in Baguio, if I slept, I could go into my bank account when I woke up, and there would be more money in there than when before I went to bed. And
that was before you got married. Then after you got married, that disappeared. No, sorry.
Good job, my wife's gone to bed early.
No.
She's coming getting a peg on your nose.
Oh, okay. That's and other parts. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I interrupted.
It's very much it's about earning money or creating money while you sleep. That's a business, because things work without you. And when you've got a business, you've got a business because you don't have to be there. You need to be there in energy, and that's really how you need to be there. When I was running Magic Webs, I really worked 10 minutes a day. And the rest of the time was just talking to the team, making coffee, creating plans, really being in tune and connect with the rest of the team. So my real hard work was 10 minutes a day, where I had to make some nitty-gritty decisions and discussions and make some real business stuff. The rest of the time, Mel, was basically just doing what I wanted and how I wanted it and with who I wanted it in my own way. So it was total freedom. When you're self-employed, you don't have hardly any freedom. You usually work more than when you're in a job, a lot more, and you usually have less money. And then when you stop working, then you don't have any money. So that's a big jump. And really the way forward is to work with people who can actually mentor you. And that's the trick to move forward. Find people who you feel connected with, talk to them, tell them about your ideas and your visions, and ask them for your help. Because it's a big, big journey that you have to go through, and it's a change of your mindset. And that journey normally takes about 5 years. And most people don't like to hear that. But that's the reality of business. If anybody really wants to go into business, it's one of the most challenging things you can ever do. I will never, ever say to anybody, but it's a really easy thing. But
what about what kind of fundamentals are involved?
The fundamentals is, in terms of business, The fundamentals of what, Mel?
To start something like yes, there is the fun in the mental, but you got to have a mindset, and you got to be able to see. I've never seen. I know I call them failures, but they're not failures because I am.
Yeah.
I don't think of myself as a psychologist. I've had 40 years of training as a psychologist. I don't think of myself as a motivational speaker, although I've had 30 years as being a motivational speaker. I don't see myself as a writer, although I've been writing 157 books. But I see myself as an entrepreneur. I create something out of nothing. An idea, and I flesh it out. And the idea could be for a rock solid brick and mortar business, or it could be something online. And now can you believe it, Dave? We talked about it last year, right? Remember? Do you want me to call you David or Dave?
David. Yeah.
David. Goliath asked the same question too, but if I could start something in my mind, I knew that at some point I'm gonna have to go online, and I've resisted it all this time. I let other people run my internet show, the online presence for MetaSecret and other things, and they haven't done a bad job, but they haven't done a good job either. And so now that me, myself, and I, a very creative and powerful sleepless team is putting everything together. Everything. I'm doing everything, and I'm looking, and I'm saying, what, the things we have today in internet support and bandwidth and other technologies never existed 10 years ago when I wanted to launch all of this other stuff, and I couldn't. The technology now exists for one man or woman to be able to get online and through a computer
create
run a huge business. That what was the definition you said? A business is something that earns you money while you're sleeping.
Yeah, that's a real business to me. Yeah.
Before this month, I've never done that.
Yeah.
So I'm building that right now. Very quietly, very slowly, very without fanfare, without hoo-ha, just very quietly doing that.
Yeah.
Because if I ran a brick and mortar thing, what happens is like that lady in Thailand I was telling you about that was organizing my seminars.
Yeah.
It's month 8 and she still hasn't paid. Can you imagine? And the excuse was what? It was so creative. After 2 years of knowing me, the excuse was I look down on Thai people. Hey, are you kidding me? I think the 4,000 how many MetaSecret fans are there in Thailand? More than 50,000 MetaSecret fans, because that's how many books we sold. Don't feel the same way as this one person. It's just an excuse. But then again, this kind of thing repeats itself in Croatia, in Serbia, in other countries, and so on and so forth. So why not run something online where you are in charge of everything from what you receive in terms of money and so on and so forth, what you disburse in terms of incomes or what do they call it, affiliate or whatever.
Affiliate marketing,
some sort of thing where you pay people who sell you, your stuff for you, whatever it's called, right? And all of that, and if you're in charge of all of that, what can go wrong? Nothing. And who's to blame? No one except you.
We're in a brand new era now, Mel, and you're absolutely 100% right. One person can run an incredible business, and you don't need a massive team. And in many ways, it's not the best way to run a business these days, especially when you're starting. And getting started is really about following your passion, following your ideas, and keeping your day job if you've got a lot of overhead expenses, and use the time wisely. I see everybody around here, and they're on the little devices, and they'll spend 12 hours a day on a device. And I'm going, I wish I had 12 hours to spend on a device. It's like,
You're talking about the game, the people that play games.
Or just on devices, doing nothing, useless stuff.
I don't even know how to play the game.
Yeah, but converting that time over into education and basically finding ways to convert that into an online income or into an income to start. That's usually the easiest way for somebody who's got no experience to start something. Especially these,
but
use that time and create something online.
You're looking at someone who 20 years ago was addicted to something called what do you call those little chomping things that will go through in the
Space Invaders? Pac-Man,
Pac-Man.
I played the very first Space Invader game on an Atari.
No way. Tetris.
Oh, yeah, very small. Yeah, very small computer.
Isn't that interesting? And then this little qubit thing that would run. I mean, that's the generation. And after that, nothing. No, I just saw it as a total waste of time. I didn't know why. And it was in Seattle, like a long time ago. I actually got a machine, put it in my house. Can you believe it? And I even had a gumball machine, put it in my house. And people would come and they would say, "Hey, how do we get this started?" I say, "You got to put quarters in there." No, this is yours, isn't it? No. The machine comes with that. Well, you're going to give us our quarters back, aren't you? I don't know. Are you going to give me my food back when you eat dinner? Just do it, you cheap little. Anyway, so I earned a lot of money actually from friends who came to visit just to play games and eat gumballs. Do you know those gumball machines, right? You put a quarter in and you get a.
They're quite. Do they still exist? I don't know.
No, but it's a novelty thing, and you always wanted the blue ones because the blue ones tasted best. Yeah.
I thought that was the Matrix. It wasn't they did get that out of the Matrix. No, the blue pill.
Was it the blue pill and then the red pill? No.
I don't know. I get confused with that.
So let's get back to the business thing. So let's assume you are meeting a newbie, myself. I have zero experience on the internet, and I am sure I want to start a business on the internet. Now, would you please just play along with me and be my coach and my guide? Now, today, Mr. David Anthony.
Yes.
I want to start a business online, but I don't know what to do.
Excellent.
I just know I want to be online.
What do you love doing, Mel?
If I told you this would be an adult channel, but that's a different thing altogether.
Smart choice. A lot of money in adult business.
Yes. What do I enjoy doing? Oh, you mean what do I love doing? I love helping people, giving them advice, especially for things that don't work, and how to turn them from really, really, really sad, depressed, almost suicidal, to really happy again. And I don't do it with just jokes, although you know me, you can't keep stop laughing when we talk. But I always see another side, a twistier side to things, and we chat and we become real, and then I bring them back, and then they try again. That's what I love to do. And I love to write. I sit down and I write.
So basically, it's taking that to the next point and actually start connecting with what you want to. So, for example, if you were to watch a YouTube video, what would you choose to watch? What would you go and type into YouTube and search for? What would you watch? Something that would excite you on YouTube. No adult stuff there.
It's never on YouTube, but it's on a different kind of tube. But it doesn't start. It ends with tube. But I have this device, software. It's called OneTab. Have you ever heard of it? No. I'm the kind of person that had multiple tabs open on my computer, like 30 at a time, every time I come on. And when I go into YouTube, that's dangerous territory, because what happens is, I'm supposed to do some work, like finish this writing. But instead, I've got 20 tabs now open, because I right click on it and I say, open a new tab, I got to watch this. So it's only 5 minutes. It's only 3 minutes. It's only 4 minutes. And it's all knowledge, little pieces of knowledge, useless crap that you will never use in anything, but you have to see how it ends because you turned it on and you played it and you want to know the history. The Sano Veda people from the south of India moved to this side of the world, and you want to know who they are. They are Neanderthals and da. And you have to know now because you turned it on. And it's so funny. And so I'm that sort of person. So I hit the one tab and it puts it all on the one tab. And so I can click it, it comes back on, and I watch it. And I think I have about, I'm not kidding, 3,000 tabs I haven't watched yet.
Wow.
So is there a specific thing I do? Well, now it's focused towards a particular thing. And so because of the technology I'm working on, advanced technology, I'm now into, most of my YouTube stuff is Lockheed, Skunkworks, secret projects, technology, physics, quantum mechanics, not the usual Deepak Chopra's, well, if you become the quantum dot in the head, I will give you a little dot or DDD, and so therefore you will understand. I say, what the hell? What have I learned from this? Nothing practical. So I'm building machines, David, and so I need to learn how they operate.
The challenge with business, Mel, is taking the step from your mind to putting it into reality. And that's the bit where people come unstuck. They get a great idea, but they have no skill about grounding it into reality. And that's where they've got to start talking with their friends. They've got to start talking with the business people. They've got to watching business people. If somebody really, really wants to do business, you've got to look at other business people. My first mentor was called David, and he didn't know that I saw him as a mentor. I didn't even know I saw him as a mentor till 20 years later. And I used to watch him. I'd sit and watch him use the computer, and I didn't know how to use PCs at that time, even though my background was IT. I used mainframes, and I was traveling while all the PC thing came out. And when I came back, all these PCs had come out. I spent like 4 years traveling, and then suddenly there's all these PCs, no mainframes. I watched him. I learned how to do all the programming and all these incredible stuff. He was my first mentor, and he was running a business. And then I realized I like what he's doing. And then I started talking with him. So that's really the first step, is to, if you're really interested in business, is to talk to business people and engage them and just start working with them. Find people who you respect and who you admire in your current employment and watch the hell out of them. Obviously, of course, not watch them like this, like, oh, I'm looking at you. But and learn. And observe.
Two things make that impossible for me if I want to get online. Number one, I get distracted, as I tell you, with all this YouTube thing. Number two, because of COVID, it's impossible to sit behind a mentor and see what it is they're doing. And then the people that I know who could be mentors of mine are too busy right now. I know they're busy, and sometimes they've asked me for advice on a couple of things, but I can't get into that. But the emotional, I help people with the emotional stuff. But I can't ask them because it sounds too much like a, you give me, I give you. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. I don't want to do that. I'll scratch your back. There's no back of mine you have to scratch. It doesn't matter.
But just as I was saying, Mel, like that now he's a friend, is a lifelong friend, David. Basically, he didn't know that I was observing him. He didn't know what I was doing. And I've had 2 or 3 really amazing mentors like that. They don't even know how I saw them or what I was doing. And one guy I watched for 3 years, and I studied with him. And he probably doesn't know to this day that, he was a mentor for me. So right now, for example, I'll give you an example. I wanted to learn how to do videos. I know nothing about video. So what do? I go on YouTube and find people who are excellent in what they do on YouTube and producing videos, and I study their videos. And I break it down and I look at it, and then I try and do it myself. And
That's what I'm doing,
I'm freeze pausing the thing. How did you get that transition in there? And And I'm watching the video 5 times. I'm learning from people that don't even know who I am. And
that's what I'm doing.
To hear we've done 10 videos, Mel, and I'm proud of my videos now. Before my first video, I'm going like, oh, did I do it? And I am the biggest critic of myself. There is nobody who can criticize my work more than me. If I give myself a 6, everybody else will give me a 20. I'm giving myself an 8 now. So I'm going like,
wow.
My last video, it's like a little horror theme, but it's a fun
I loved it though. That was so good. The lighting was excellent. The camera angles were great.
Do you know what we were doing, Mel? We were cleaning our water tank.
It looked like those subterranean Parisian, you know, the what did they call those aqueducts? You know,
you would have paid millions if you wanted to get that as a film set.
Exactly.
You would have to take all your people across the other side, and we have it's just over here, our water tank, underground. It's 3 meters underground, and just creativity. And I'm learning from other people. So absolutely right. This mentor whereby like scratch, but this
find somebody who's good at what it is I want to do and then copy them. The best.
Don't just find somebody who's good. Find the best. So I'm looking for people now who've got multi-million subscribers on YouTube. They're number one in their field, and they're the best of the best. And they've got so many great results. They're getting the results. And then I think, how did they do it? You know, how can I do more?
I've been trying to study this marketing, and it's a nebulous word, and there's so many people out there that are claiming to be a marketing guru of one kind or another. And they're jockeying for position. They've got thousands of people on their subscriber list and all of that. But then I discovered this one guy called CoffeeZilla.
I've seen his
CoffeeZilla. Have you seen his stuff?
I watched one of his videos today. I think,
What a brilliant young man. Let me spell it out so everybody knows.
The guy with the dark hair, or
the guy with the dark hair, minimal background, and if you go to YouTube and you look for CoffeeZilla, he's hunting down and he's killing the fake gurus. I mean,
that's that one. Yeah.
2 things it does for me. Number one, scratch this guru off, scratch this guru off, scratch that guru off, and he's telling you not to waste your money on all these people, and that instead come in. I mean, there's some people right now who are selling courses on how to produce and write books, and they've barely put 2 or 3 books together, and this and this and that and that, and they're charging a bomb. And why don't I just charge what people can afford? And to be able to do this, like instead of the thousands, a couple of $100, does it cost much? That's affordable by everybody. So here comes these gurus, and he's hunting them down. 2 things we learn, David. One, don't follow them. Don't listen to their advice. Full of crap. They just want your subscribers and your money, and that's it. Number 2, what not to do so that you're not a fake guru at the same time. That you are genuine, that you're doing what you're supposed to do, and that you can do what you're supposed to do, and to be able to take it forward. And I asked myself a simple question. What am I good at? What am I'm learning about internet marketing. I mean, literally from scratch. I'm learning about video editing, so I can't say I'm good at that. Money, well, the money comes and goes. Been a millionaire gazillion times. I've lost it all also several times. And now with COVID, holy crap, is it ever very tough. So the one thing I'm good at, and you're still my advisor on this path towards being online, is that I am 99% happy all the time. And that I can teach people to be happier. And this is what I do, and I realize that I do it.
Great gift,
normally, naturally.
And that's something very special. I don't know if you've seen any of videos with Jolly in it, and she's just like that too. A natural Jolly.
Yes.
Well, she's Jolly J&J. So she's 3 in 1 like you.
I love it. I love it. And so, but my
beautiful, just like your great energy.
But how do I take it? to an online quote unquote business?
Well, every time I want to create a video now, I spend about 3 days asking myself questions. And my first question is, what should I create a video on? And then I listen. And usually these days, within 2 to 3 seconds, I get an answer. And then, okay, so I get a word. And then I say, okay, well, what's the storyline? And then an idea comes to me. So then go into that and go into that and just, I keep talking to myself now. Now, don't tell everybody I do that. But I keep talking to myself. And, you know, asking ourselves questions is the best person to ask. But we've got to really want to know the answer, Mel. And 99% of the people do not want to know the answer. They want to ask a question. They don't want to know the answer. You've really got to want to know, and you will get to know just like that. It will instantly come to you if you want to know the answer. So you know,
my question was, how do I take it online?
Well, then
this energy, this ability, yeah.
So the thing is to start taking yourself to a point where you're structured in how you ask yourself. So wanting to know the answer is number one. Number two is being very structured. Okay, what should I do? You're
asking an Aquarian to be structured.
Yeah, good.
Aquarian to be structured.
With my astrology, I have Uranus in my first house.
Oh, so was that? Did you just slam me with Uranus? But
yeah,
that's
something like that.
Thing. Okay.
Yeah.
How do I get structured?
But your structure is just in your desire to create something. Structure can be whatever you like, but you must have a desire and you must follow a path. So if you want to do something, you got to ask yourself a question and then listen for the answer. So it's just like having a conversation with somebody. You wouldn't do that and not listen to the answer. It's just the same thing. So it's a two-way process. You can have the same thing with yourself.
And we can do that anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Not just in a desk.
Yeah.
Actually, anywhere. I do that a lot, but for a reason. I do that on the MRTs in Singapore, the Mass Rapid Transit, just to get an extra seat. Can you imagine me talking to myself? What do you think, Mel? I'm not sure. Shall we do this tomorrow? I'm not sure. What are you going to have for dinner tonight? Well, let's see. I like it. And straight away, the sea of people parts, and then there's a seat, and I sit there. That's cool. So
next time I'm in Singapore, yeah.
So in other words, you want me to think about a product or a thing or a coaching program or something that I could bring online.
Yeah.
And then through the successes and testimonials of the people who've succeeded at doing what I tell them to do and all of that, it will grow, hopefully, at that point. Is that right? Yeah. But then I'm working. You see, I'm working. I have to interact.
But the thing is about asking yourself questions and better questions. Then information will come to you. When I can't solve a problem, I ask myself a question, and then I listen. And when I don't want the answer, it might take weeks before I get an answer. When I want the answer, I get the answer. The other day, and I'll show you this one here. Now you can't see this. So this is a little bit weird now. We're going a bit weird. This here is a herb. It's actually called serpentine or serpentine. This is the seed. And I'm standing in the garden and I ask myself, with it in my hand, I just picked it, what is the properties of this plant? Now, I know some of the properties of the leaf, but what is the properties of the seed? And it came to me that it's a very strong herb and it's an abortive.
Oh, what?
So, an abortive, it will abort babies. And I'm going like, my goodness. Now, if you look online about this, you'll find that it's one of the herbs used in many countries for natural abortions. And it's like, I didn't know that. And how did I know that? I just asked myself the question, what is it? What does this do? What is its properties of the seed, not the leaf?
It's a morning after herb.
Yeah, but it has many properties, but that's one. It's a very, very strong herb. And when you take the leaf, it actually is very soft and gentle, but the seed is very strong. Now, by asking the question, if I didn't take the time and the curiosity, I would never know. I would never then go onto the internet and find out and research it and actually know that what I thought was actually true. So 99% of the time, we don't even ask ourselves because we don't think we can get the answers. And we all have a gift and an ability to do stuff. And
well, that's just it. You and I can do it. We've been at it for a while. We've been using mental, emotional, psychic processes to get these kind of answers. But a lot of people are not trained like that. So even if they do get an answer, they don't trust it.
They don't trust it. And that's where it's the journey. So somebody who wants to be in business, somebody who wants to be successful, it takes 10 years. It takes 20 years. It's a journey. It's not just like overnight success. And people who are successful at their projects that they've done have taken a lot of time to learn. Just like when we learn to read a book, it takes how many years to learn to read? How many? It's maybe 3 or 4 years.
Sure. Last week, we heard from one of my friends, Dan Tarta, that the Latin definition, or root word for success, is follow through. To follow through. That's what the word means, is to follow through.
Persistence.
So in effect, when I'm an entrepreneur, because I think of myself as an entrepreneur, there is no such thing as failure for me. For me, as an entrepreneur, and the way I see things as an entrepreneur, whether I'm a coach, a psychologist, motivational speaker, writer, or any of these things, I can't say. I mean, I'm saying it's a failure because that's the way that people comprehend it, right? They termed it. But to me, it's like one thing didn't work. You know, you say the S word a couple of times. You might even use the F word once in a while. And then you just simply get on and do the thing. And again and again, or find a different way or find a different route. And so I never give up. So I always reach my goal. I do always reach my goal. And so we've had to have course deviations and all of that sort of thing. But a lot of people tell stories. A lot of people say, oh, a pilot goes from Singapore to London, makes 10,000 course corrections. Easy to say. But when you go through the course corrections yourself, your whole world turns upside down. See, because when you make the course corrections, you lose your house. You lose a relationship. You lose friends. You lose, many things. And people don't realize that it's not easy. So the next step I need to go to is like, because you've given us some great ideas, David. Find somebody who's good at what they're doing, and the evidence is online. It will show. It's very funny. I was trying to talk to an internet marketer the other day, about 4 days ago. And this person was talking to me and saying, you know, Dr. Mel, I can take you from X to X and da-da-da-da-da. You know, I can do that on your YouTube channel. I said, have you done it before? Yes. Well, you take a look at my YouTube channel and you can see that I'm actually teaching people this and this. And I found that they're promising me 40,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Wow. And I'm looking at their channel, and they're less than 3,000. No, they're 1,300 people. My YouTube, by making mistakes, is around 2,000 subscribers. And that's by making mistakes and not marketing. I still don't know how to do that effectively. And so I'm going out. But I tell you something that I've been successful at. The Facebook thing, when we start to learn, and YouTube is so useful this way, about how can you get your subscriber base up for Facebook. And the fan page was about 4,000 roughly. I use $100 ad, $100 ad in Facebook. David, it's now almost 7,000.
Wow, very good.
And that's just from playing around and still not knowing what exactly I'm doing. I mean, I'm not an ad agency and all of that. So you and I have a lot to do together if we want to maybe together grow this thing, because we're pretty much in line with how we want to help people. But I know why I need to help people. Why do you want to help people?
Yeah, very good question. And basically, I don't know if I want to help people, Mel. You know, I honestly cannot say I want to help people. But basically, I I cannot live a life without having the experiences that I want. And one of the experiences is to see smiles on other people's faces. And basically, as I see that, and as I see them come alive, it makes me come alive. So then I think, wow, there's interaction. There's something that's incredible there, that when I'm alive and they're alive, there's something special that gets created. And that's life. And it's just incredible life. So if I was to say I wanted to help people, I'd be totally lying. I want life, Mel. And when I see people alive, it makes me more alive. And when I want to play the game and do things and bring people together and do incredible things, there's life there, there's energy. And it's like, wow, this is why we're living. And this is what it's all about. It's just the passion and energy mixed together. And if we're producing something that's a goal or a vision or whatever, that's the extra, it's the ice cream. It's the absolute ice cream. It's about really just living life. And if there's anything that I love to see is other people being alive and other people being passionate about what they're doing and overcoming the hurdles when they have a failure. They overcome that and just keep living and keep doing and keep being, and not getting themselves swinging out of a tree because something didn't work, or jumping out of a building. It's like life to me is about, it begins and it ends. And the bit in the middle is like just experience. We just do it and keep on doing it. And if we want to create some projects or do stuff, then we just need to have a vision and focus, and things will happen. And the magic will happen. So
wow.
That's not really answered your question directly, but I'd be lying if I said anything different. I'm here for life, Mel, and just to live life to the fullest that I can actually find. And if I have problems, to find ways around those, like water going down a river, bypass the rock. How do I bypass the rock? How do I create a different experience? How do I live life to the full?
Wow.
I went on quite a bit there, didn't I?
No. I didn't want to interrupt because everything you said was motivational, very useful. And I'm sure everyone who's listening is gaining something from this as well. We are in let's try it again. That was Tibetan for those who understood. Now back to English. We are in conversation with David Anthony, and he runs a project called UBLA, and that's based in the Philippines. And David is here to help businesses thrive. And if you want to start a business, he would be the person to contact. And you have access to the little thing at the bottom, the comment thing, David. Just put in where people can get a hold of you. And all of that while I'm talking, so that they can contribute or be part of, and maybe even be part of your organic farm, and producing seeds to do whatever things we want them to do. But that's awesome. That's kind of scary. A lot of pharmaceutical companies are going to come your way soon and say, tell us about these seeds, and they'll buy up the whole plant, and pretty soon you'll have a lot of irresponsible people and doing what nature did not intend. Long story short, David is someone I know who has been dreaming big ideas. And some of these big ideas have translated into reality. B1G1, now continued by his ex-wife and friend. And that's based in Singapore, but David's based in the Philippines. Whereabouts in the Philippines? Are you close to Manila, or?
Thankfully not. We're about 150 kilometers north in Luzon, northern Luzon.
In Luzon.
Yeah, if people know Baguio, we're just in the lowlands below Baguio. So
below
beautiful.
Baguio.
Yeah, we're in.
Isn't that where
Yeah,
that's where Manny Pacquiao lives, right? In Baguio.
I think he's got a few places, Mel. Yeah,
he does, huh?
He actually did his training in Baguio, from my memory, in a gym there. Yeah, some people says, "Oh, that's Manny Pacquiao's gym." I said, "Oh yeah," as I went past a few years ago.
I met him.
I think he lives in Manila now.
He is. Yeah. He's I met him 3 years ago when I was there, and we're trying to launch the MetaSecret over there. But it's very difficult when you have a Filipino team without a proper head in charge of everything, because things go awry and not the way you expect, and there's all kinds of communication issues and other issues that come in the way. But Manny Pacquiao was a senator, or still is, at that point. And he introduced me to the Senate, to the entire parliament. It was like, wow, I'm sitting here, the mayor of so-and-so, the governor of so-and-so, and some other, they're all big names. And here I am in this monkey suit, just sitting there. And he says, and the author of The MetaSecret, and the international bestseller. And I'm standing up saying, hi, I'm so sorry. Yes, I'm so sorry I'm here. Get to go down, sit down. It's like being very apologetic for that experience. But it was kind of nice because gave him a copy of the book, and he read it and gave me a what do you call it when people write good things about you? Testimonials. Testimonials. So that was very nice of him as well. The thing I want to touch on, and here's where we ask other people to join us. If you'd like to be part of the show and to chat with David Anthony, please feel free to click on that link that you'll see in your thread. Ashok Thakur says hello. He's from New York. He runs a business, and the business is internet security. There's another cybersecurity. There you go. It's been a long day. Noraini says hello, and of course we said hello to my mother as well. And some people joining us from Japan, Michiro Takayushi, welcome. Ayusa Korn from Thailand, welcome. And Kalin from Bulgaria, welcome. Kalin is a entrepreneur of sorts. He's working a full-time job, but at the same time trying to run a business as well. And it's all information business. What's it called? Something online that sells information. What do you call that? There's a word.
I don't know.
Prayut from Thailand joins us. Malinka from the United States joins us. Cassie is in Thailand. Marissa's from Singapore, I think. And Luke is still watching us and not being part of the show. And Lucia from...
come in, Luke. Luke, come on in.
From Brazil. She's listening to us as well. So MJ Bajan is from the Philippines, your neck of the woods.
Yes.
And I saw an interesting flash, like a photographer flash. How interesting is that? Outside my window. It's either lightning about to come down or rain about to come down.
They're coming for you. You've been bad comments.
Yeah. If you have any comments and you'd like to make, or if you have any questions for my very special guest, David Anthony, please feel free to write those comments down, and I'll get him to answer your questions for you. He has been kind enough to give us his time to share with us on building businesses and what it takes to make the transition from an employee to an entrepreneur, business owner.
Business owner, entrepreneur. Everybody loves entrepreneurs. It's like cool.
Because it comes from the French word, right? Entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And so as a result, everybody's a infopreneur. They're like if you're creating seeds, a seedopreneur, farmerpreneur, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But while we're waiting for questions, I have a quick one to ask you. Spirituality, going back to spirituality and how it's related to the business that you create or the business you run.
Yeah.
In your case, it's clear cut. You're here to serve, just like me. We're here to serve humanity in whatever capacity we can.
Mhm.
It's not to make a profit of them, but what happens when you serve and your numbers increase
Mhm.
into the millions of
Mhm.
people, subscribers,
Yeah.
then you are making money.
Mm.
Should people be apologetic about that? Or, there are people that are teaching some very
Yeah.
good things
Yeah.
and they're making a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, what I love about money, Mel, is it's a reflection, and it's just one reflection. And number of subscribers on a YouTube channel is another reflection. And anything, people who buy the books, it's just a reflection of success. It's just a result. And it's just like anything, what we do with it, if that gets to our ego, if we've sold 1 million books and it's like, oh, now a different person, like, that's sad. And if you make a lot of money and you become a different person, that's sad too. And like you, I've made money, I've lost money, and basically I've done many things around so many different things. And what is important now is about the experience. And if I create a lot of money, then I can choose what I want to do with that money. There's nothing bad or right or wrong about anything. Like this clothes peg, I could go and get your nose. And that would become a bad thing. It's just a clothes peg. So money to me is the same thing as that. It's just, we can do whatever we like. It's just a tool. And I personally focus on creating money. I'm not interested in money. I'm interested in money because it's a great thing to see, because it shows success and it shows that things are working. And just like any other part of business, it's a sign of things are going really well. And when you not got the money, it shows that it's not going well. If you've not got the money in business, you're not doing it properly. Things are not working right. You're not really being, on the nail with what's going on. The money shows you. It's just like the gold star at school. It's exactly the same.
A lot of people are teaching these programs. Improve your relationship with money. Make money your friend. Money is like the petrol in the car. Gas in the car, Money is a spiritual guide for . You've seen all these folks, right? And a lot of people have unconscious relationships with money that they're not aware of. Criteria, they cannot earn more than their parents have earned, and because they've gone beyond that. Some criteria thing broke, and so they have to find a way to lose it all, or find someone to take it all. Or some of us who are brought up in Methodist schools, and so as a result, we learn about Francis of Assisi, and he gave up all his wealth. And there are things in the Bible that talk about, it's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle, which is one of the gates of Jerusalem, rather than a man to get into heaven, but what they, and so people take it literally. They said the eye of a needle is so small. No, the eye of a needle refers to a gate in Jerusalem where it's so low, the roof is so low that a camel has to get on his knees to be able to walk in there. Yes,
I didn't know that.
It's called the eye of the needle, and so because I study this stuff, I want to know the truth. I want to know what is real, what is not, what is created by men, as opposed to what is really there, and so on and so forth. And you find a lot of anomalies and fallacies and so on and so forth, but nobody ever questions them because they're so desperate to hold on to some kind of hope. But regardless, when somebody gets screwed like that, you have all these coaches that will help you. Money coach. You have a wealth coach. You have I even sold a .com once to a company that wanted it, the wealthmasterclass.com, for $10,000, right? They wanted it and so on and so forth because it was very important. But I know that there might be those issues in me, so I decided to create a foundation where I'm guaranteed to earn nothing. My computer speaks to me like this, so it makes me smile every hour on the hour. Can you imagine? So What was I saying? Yes, yes, money. And so when we talk about the money thing, all of it is for pushing humanity forward. Literally, Mel Gill gets a tiny bit from one or two seminars he runs to be able to buy a cup of coffee or something like that. And my expenses have been like nothing, like absolutely almost nothing. Yeah. So it's kind of sad. What advice would you give someone who is afraid to start?
Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah. Okay, I'll be that. I'll be that someone. I'm afraid. But just do it. But what if I fail?
Well, then don't do it. Just go away and die.
What?
You decide
really?
That's it. You know, like so many people want support to do stuff. Where you've either got to want to do it or you don't. That's simple. And if you want to be in business, you've got to want to do it. You've got to have a deep desire inside of yourself to do something. And if you don't have that desire, don't do it. Don't pretend to do something that you don't have a driving force inside of yourself to do.
I like that.
And if you don't have that, why are you doing it? You cannot tell people what to do or encourage people to do something if they've not got that desire. You can only support people to, you know, fan the flames if the flames are there. And, you know, if they don't know what the flame is, find the flame, look for the flame. And if it's business, then fan that flame. If it's singing, fan that flame. If it's like you writing and, you know, philosophy and teaching, fan that flame. And the flame has to be there. So if somebody's at the stage of wanting somebody to like, come on, do it, tell me how to do it, it's like, no, go away.
Push me, wake me up every day, push me, make me do it, make me want to do it. I love that.
Let the passion flow, you know. Most people don't allow their own passion to flow, and then they become afraid. But, you know, they will attract people to teach them and help them, support them if they're fanning their own flames, you know, because you see the passion in somebody else, a young person, for example, and they've got it. They don't need to ask you. You want to be there and like help them and support them because it's coming from them, and that's the magic of energy. It's the magic of life. So I'd be quite cruel, Mel, to you if you came to me asking those questions. And I do the same with my daughter, you know. And little Kyra, you know, like she asks me questions and sometimes I'm quite blunt. And she looks at me like a bit shocked at first. And then she gets the message. Oh, yeah, it's about her. She has to do it if she wants to make it happen. She wants a cell phone at the moment, you know. So I said, well, make it happen.
Instead of being a pansy and sitting there and saying, I'm not motivated and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of stories with that. So you heard it here. If you ask David Anthony a question about... but I don't have the motivation to start. How do I do this? And he has a 1 acre piece of land and many bodies have been buried there. So just to let you know, this is what he will do with you. You could be manure for everybody else.
Look at these eyes. Yes. Do I look crazy?
No. It's quite a sane thing to do. But you could, what you are saying is that you could go crazy if you engage these people who have no drive and no motivation and are lazy as...
Yes, precisely. And trying to help people, you know, like, and support people, you know, who are not helping themselves. And you've got to get, it's like people around here in where we are, they talk about going to school and studying. And I talk to a few of them, I say, during coronavirus, how many hours have you studied online? And they look at me going blank saying, huh? How many hours have you studied what you're doing? I'm like, nothing. Do you have internet access? Yeah. Why are you not studying? And it's like, huh? And people have to get off the butts and do things. You've done that in your life. I've done that in my life. Everybody's got to do that. And that's the important first step.
Actually, that's the reverse for me, though. For me to get my things done, I have to get back on my butt to be able to get it done. If I'm off my butt, it means I'm not writing, I'm not doing stuff. So mine is all here, and yeah, on my butt. And a lot of people, I have to buy things for this chair that I'm sitting on to make it more comfortable, so that your ass is balanced and things like this. And
you've not learned to levitate yet? No,
levitate? No, I do with
learning with levitating.
Oh no! I use the power of levity all the time, and so yes, I'm fairly light in that sense. If only the weight thing would work. Final words of advice, because we're usually run this program about an hour and a half or 2 hours long. It looks like nobody wants to come on board and join us, so we will bring it to its close soon. And David, I want to thank you really for all of the insanely good advice you have given us. I mean, I'm serious. I mean, it's not your typical advice, but also at the same time, it's advice that is real and practical. And if you want to start something online or anywhere else, just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah. And this man is not even paid by Nike, and he's just telling you that this is the way to do it. So what advice would you give somebody about preparing for the difficult times coming during this whole COVID crisis? I don't expect things to be over until December sometime, even with all the vaccines.
Well, fortunately for a lot of people in the world, they are getting easier. A lot of countries are opening up now. Here in the Philippines, we're still pretty well locked down, but you can't go out still. I think what is obvious to a lot of people is that they're actually enjoying being at home, and they're being creative in different ways. And you've got to just enjoy the new change and make the most of it. I suddenly found I can create videos. I'm like, I suddenly find that I can create humor. I didn't know I had. I'm defining new skills because I can't go anywhere. I can't go out. I can't hire somebody to do some of the stuff that I might have wanted to do. I've got to do it myself because I'm here and I want to do it. But, so basically, it's really about enjoying it, being in the moment, being here present, enjoying the gift of what is here, and it will pass. Coronavirus will pass. It's a wave, and there's a crest, and then there's a bottom, and then basically the life goes on, and we'll become all different people because of it. And I think relationships will get a tremendous boost. I'm now teaching my daughter every day, so I'm spending real time with her and sharing a lot of my gifts in a practical way that I wasn't doing before because she went to school. So incredible things are happening. She's now got her own little following on Facebook, and everybody keeps commenting how cute she is. Every day now she does a video. I'm doing the videoing though. But she's doing presentation. So I think it's just about enjoyment, Mel, and we've got to really see this for what it is. It's a gift, and any problem is a gift, no matter if we can see it or not. We can't see the treasure in the box when the box is closed. We've got to open that box and explore it. And sometimes it's under dirty clothes and there's a bar of gold at the bottom of the box, but we've never known it's there. So, I'm a philosopher. I believe in, seeing the light when there's no light. But that's why I've done so many amazing things in my life, because I look for the great things, and they're always there. They're always there. And you just got to look for them. And in coronavirus, that's what I think we've got to do. Look for the great things and the beautiful things that are happening to us all. And, there's a lot of good stuff happening. And it will pass. It's a wave. It will pass.
Awesome. Hypnotic, actually. Everything you just said. No, and speaking of your daughter, I mean, look, she's on the right track, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's a 7-year-old who's making $11 million on YouTube. All he does is unbox toys and things.
That's the young Korean man, is it?
I think it is. I'm not sure, but there's also an American kid that's also doing it as well. Yeah. And so many other people. It's incredible what people want to see and listen to. The latest one is a fellow who inadvertently, his heart was in the right place. He wanted to do this. It's called Dad, How Do I?
Wow.
That's a channel. Dad, How Do I?
Yeah.
And so he decided that there are many children out there without fathers. And so he decided to adopt every single one on them and teach them the basic skills a father should teach a child. And so even though most of his audience is all children, we're talking about a subscriber base of 12 million.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah, that's not
Incredible.
small. That's not small. And it's growing. It's growing
YouTube
all the time. Yes. But he is doing it for the right reasons. It's simple, no big hoo-ha, no big intro, outro like I'm doing with all of this stuff. Nothing. It's just simple. And he's just helping as many people as he can. So I thought that was just brilliant. Yeah. And it's given a lot of people a lot of ideas. There are a lot of copycats out there doing the same thing. But you can see from the eyes, David, from the eyes, you can see that they're not as sincere as this guy. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is he has. It's something he has in his presence. I would like to meet this fellow just to be a friend. What a great guy. And he's a real father with a couple of grown teenage kids and everything else, but making a big dent in a lot of lonely people's lives. And a lot of people need encouragement out there, Dave. So don't stop creating your videos. I find them fun and interesting and cinematic.
It's a horror movie, the next one. We're doing horror movies on the next one. It's out this week. Next one. Yeah.
Well, there you go. David is just doing a movie next week on marriage, I think he said. Horror movie? No, you're not.
Can I show the website, Mel? Because
yes, please.
I'm old-fashioned. I use paper as well, so that's actually. If people want to get in touch with me.
Keep it up there. Keep it up there.
Yeah, ubla.edu.ph. So it's an education
domain. ubla.edu.ph.
Yeah, so
just for you to know.
I tried to put it on the comments, but it seems to be locked for some reason. I'm an IT guy and I couldn't get it to unlock, so no good. Such is life.
Able to. Let's see what's happening here.
It won't let me into the comments.
You know why? You are putting it in the private comments. I see it.
I put it in the comments. Yeah, and then I put it in the comments, but the main comments is locked out to me, so I couldn't put it.
Let me do something about this.
Yeah.
No, the main comments you should not be locked out.
Yeah, I can't put anything in, but that's okay. So, yeah.
Well, make a wish.
Yeah.
And it is there, right there. So if you want to visit and ask any questions, your email.
Yep. Yep. Go to the website and there's a contact there and there's email and everything on there. Yeah. Great. And there's also a YouTube channel on that page. There's a link to and also a lot of different projects. We've got t-shirt projects and all sorts of fun stuff. So, yeah. So if anybody goes there, it's actually not like a school site right now. It's a startup. And a lot of people have come and said, "Where are your students?" And I said, "Well, we don't have them right now." "Where's the pictures of your students?" "Well, we don't have any right now."
It's coming. You're building it.
Yeah, so that's why it doesn't look like a school right now, but in the future it'll get rebuilt. It's a fundraising site right now, and
you are at inception point.
Yeah,
we call it inception point.
Correct. The point of power.
The point of power, the one where you take off.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you so much, David, for being part of this show. I will welcome you anytime you want to be back on the show as well.
Wonderful, Mel. Well, thank you, Mel.
My pleasure. Absolute pleasure. We will talk more during the week of how we can help each other collaborate in one way or another. Yeah. And if anybody wants to collaborate with David, you know where to get a hold of him as well.
Yeah.
And that would be great. David, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Mel. Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity. And it's always wonderful chatting with you and having a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we'll talk privately, and I can use more words I can't use here. You take care of yourself. Good night, sir.
Thank you. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So that brings us to the close of Uncommon Sense. Today we've had no visitors. Also, my co-host, Son, is not able to be part of this show for one reason or another. We'll find out later why. And we were talking about business, and we're talking about the psychology of business, but we're also talking about spirit, and not so much in terms of spirituality, but in terms of spirit and the psychology behind it. Because even the clearest water sometimes seem opaque at a great depth. How deep can you go into living your life the way you want? How deep can you go into letting yourself surrender to the things you love? So each of us is like a great untamed sea. We're obedient to deeper currents that somehow are seldom visible to anyone that pays attention. Anyone that tries to look for them will not find them, but the currents are there. And knowing this has actually given us 3 insights worth keeping in our awareness. First, we must consider that the deepest patch of ocean is as clear as its surface wave. And though it remains unseeable to the human eye that bobs above it, it is there. Second, how far we can see into the deep depends on the calmness or the turbulence at the surface. And third, just as the depth and the surface of the sea are inseparable, so too are the spirit and psychology of each human being. It is our deep-sounding, untamed currents that cause us to rise and swell, dip and crash. And yet that base of spirit remains unaffected by the storms that churn up the surface. It obeys a deeper order. Still, we as beings living in the world are always subject to both the depth and the surface, our spirit and our psychology. And though we can never see all the way to the bottom on clear days, when our psychology is calm, it is on those clear days that we can know the depth that carries us. When free of turbulence and anxiety, we can know the ocean of God that swells within. And so in love, in relationships, in the brief clarity that living gives rise to, I see all the way through you, as far as my sight can go, and forever changed am I. Then the winds come from the east, and suddenly you're all churned up. Your depth seems blocked, and I wonder who you are sometimes. And this happens in the course of knowing oneself as well. It's unavoidable. Watch any patch of sea, and you will know it's unavoidable. It has never been completely still. Even when calm, it reflects everything as it spreads and never vanishes. So too are our feelings, which keeps changing in the light. The degree to which we are clear and seeable depends on how calm we are and how calm the day is. But we are never cut off from our spirit, any more than the surface wave is cut off from the ocean floor. Fear of living, fear of doing, fear of thinking often comes when we place all our energy into the moment of the wave, into the turbulent moment of our psychology. So what then do we do? What then must we do? There is no way to get to the other side except through. What waits for us is on the other side of fear. What wants us to be our best self and live our best life is on the other side of those things we imagined are in our way. The minute you begin to realize this is the minute you start to soar free, like the spirit that you are. I want to thank you for spending your time with me the last couple of hours and your patience with me as well. This program is called Uncommon Sense, and you're listening to the voice of Dr. Mel Gill. The next program will be this Friday at 9:30 p.m. Singapore time, 9:30 a.m. New York time, and 4:30 p.m. Bulgaria time. Good night, everyone.